So you used our Save Search feature, which is great. But now you got an email telling you got new records for it, and you're wondering, what do I do next? Well, look no further. I'm going to show you 3 approaches that you can take when it comes to save searches. So let's log into PropStream. Once you've logged into PropStream, locate all searches at the top, then find your saved search. Once it's been found, go ahead and select it. Your results will now appear on the right-hand side. Let's talk about approach number 1. You see, approach number 1 is actually going to rely on your email. Your email is going to tell you exactly how many new records have appeared. And the way that PropStream works is we're always going to show you the most recent records first, meaning the lower the number on the results, the most recent the record. So in my example, my email says you got 4 new records, meaning numbers 1, 2, 3, and 4 are those records. And once they've been selected, I can now go to add to lists and either add it to the same list as before or create a new one and go from there. Now, what if your email says you have several dozen or even hundreds of new records? Clearly, manually selecting them is going to be time consuming. So if that's the case, I recommend using the filter option right next to add to lists. This option will allow you to tell PropStream exactly what numbers to show you. So if your email says you had 157 new records, you can go here and say, show me number 1 through 157, followed by selecting the blank box to the left. And as you can see, you have now 157 results selected, at which point you can now hit add to list and save it to the same list or a new list. Let's talk about approach number 2. Approach number 2 is pretty easy. All you have to do here is select all the records, followed by add to lists, and creating a new list. Now you're probably wondering, well, Burton, I don't need the old records. Aren't those going to count against me? The answer is no. PropStream will recognize records that have been saved before, not count those against your save limit. Meaning only addresses that haven't been saved before are what's going to count against your save limit. So once your new list has been saved, go ahead and head over to My Properties and locate that list. Now, I know you're probably wondering, but Burton, there's duplicates now, and I don't need these old records. All I wanted are the new records. Let me show you how to get rid of the old records. Once you select your new list in My Properties, head over to the far right of your results and locate the marketing lists column. This will allow you to identify properties that are in 1, 2, or more lists. Now, because we know some of these addresses are in our older lists, we want to get rid of that. And so to do that, what I want to tell PropStream is show me properties that are in 2 lists or more. And once I've isolated all of those, I can now select them all, followed by actions, and deleting these records. Doing so will only leave the addresses that are in 1 list only, meaning if it's not in my old list, please don't put it in here, right? So in just a few moments, we're going to remove all the addresses that are in 2 lists, the new MLS list, as well as the Los Angeles list from the past. And that will leave us with just addresses that are in 1 list, meaning the MLS list here. So when I do that, you will now see the 3 remaining addresses that we have. And now, as you can see, we have the 4 remaining properties. This is the second approach. Let's talk about the third approach. So the third approach is pretty much the same as the second approach, except this time you're going to save all the properties into the same list as before. And I know you're thinking, but Burton, isn't there going to be duplicates now? Am I not going to see 2 of the same address? And the answer is no. Again, PropStream has the ability to identify any properties that have been saved before and only count the new ones against you. And in this case, because we're saving it to the same list, it's only going to push the new addresses into that list. So let's go ahead and save these addresses to the same list. Once the results have been saved, let's head over to My Properties, followed by selecting the list, in this case, the original list from the past. Now, again, we now have old and new addresses mixed in here. So how do I identify the new ones versus the old ones? Well, select your list and head to the very far right. From here, you'll be able to identify the date added to list column. Here, you'll be able to see any addresses that have came in after the original date. And in our scenario, we can see that there are several new addresses that have come in after the original date. And again, these are the original dates, the original date in which I saved this list. So we can see here that we have a few new properties that have been added. And so now what I can do is I can select these properties, followed by actions, and then add them to a new marketing list. And I can also delete them or even keep them in the original list if I wanted to. In this example, I'm going to go ahead and delete them so that I can put them into the new list. And just like that, I've taken the new results that I've put into the original list. Again, I know we mixed them up at one point, but the date added to list column will allow me to separate the new ones and put them into a new list. And now, as you can see, your new list is in your marketing list section with the new addresses that you were notified about. And that's it for approach number 3. I hope that you enjoyed this video, and if you want to learn more, make sure to like and follow our social media, or just go to the help section to learn more tips and tricks that you can do on PropStream.